Nick, 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 Nick. Kick it.
Hello, Nickelodeon fans, and welcome to This Week in Nickelodeon History. We are covering everything that either premiered or ended on Nickelodeon between June 13th and June 19th. And we are starting off 3 years ago on June 14th, 2018. It was the final episode of The Adventures of Kid Danger, the animated spin-off of Henry Danger, created by Dan Schneider and featuring the voices of every single character from Henry Danger. It was Nickelodeon's way of expanding the universe. Henry Danger was a massive success, and they just decided, hey, we're just going to have an animated show at the exact same time as Henry Danger. I don't know. There was a weird thing for them to do. If they would have kept this until after Henry Danger ended, I think maybe the show would have done better. And also, I don't know. I wasn't digging the animation. If they were able to tap into a more comic book style, like the 90s X-Men, and make that with Henry Danger, I think that would have been really cool. I don't know. But it ran for one season of 12 episodes. 5 years ago, on June 19th, 2016, it was the final episode of The Other Kingdom. Ran for one season of 20 episodes and was created by Thomas W. Lynch. It is a fantasy sitcom about fairies and the fairy kingdom and the human world, so on and so forth. Definitely not something I would really watch, but hey, if it's your cup of tea, I hope you enjoyed it. 6 years ago, on June 15th, 2015, Fresh Beat Band of Spies premiered on Nick Jr., created by Nadine Vandervelde and Scott Kraft. It is a spin-off of the series The Fresh Beat Band. Now, when I spoke about this show earlier this year, I don't know if I mentioned it was animated, but it follows the Fresh Beat Band, who is a live-action group of people, not too different from the Wiggles, just presenting songs and music for a preschool age. Once that show ended, they decided to animate them as spies. It ran for one season of 20 episodes. 8 years ago, on June 17th, 2013, Nick Studio 10 finished its run. Nick Studio 10, for those that don't know, was another attempt of Nickelodeon having a live show for children in the afternoon, pretty much for bumpers in between cartoons, to give them something extra to watch so they stay on Nickelodeon and don't leave, for whatever reason. Just extra programming, extra reason to stick around. Live blocks in the afternoon were fairly popular throughout the 90s, at least. TRL was a very big deal as I was growing up, and Nickelodeon had many other forms of this, like Nick in the Afternoon from 94 to 98, and You Pick Live from 2002 to 2005. So it's in their blood. So this was just another attempt at it. Started earlier that year at February 18th, 2013. And it was actually hosted by children instead of being hosted by adults. So I remember I wasn't watching a lot of Nickelodeon at this time, but some of the segments in between, like during the commercials and whatnot, some were entertaining, some were obnoxious. I'm sure some kids out there enjoyed it. Definitely wasn't my cup of tea, but I applaud the attempt as always. Also 8 years ago, on June 17th, 2013, the final episode of House of Anubis premiered on Nickelodeon. House of Anubis, which was created by Hans Borland and Gert Verhulst, hopefully I did not butcher that, ran for 3 seasons of 190 episodes plus a 90-minute TV special. This was a big deal. It was a massive mystery show that, one of those shows that you had to watch every episode to get the entire story, to follow the mystery through on. I did not catch this early on, but I'm always up for a good mystery, so this is something that I would definitely be interested in. But it actually wasn't even made in the United States. This was ported from the UK. This was made in the United Kingdom, but it had great success as far as I know in the United States as well. So, I hope to see more of those kind of things. Mystery shows are great, especially ones that can be aimed at children. Like, there's definitely a market for that. 9 years ago, on June 18th, 2012, Hollywood Heights premiered on Nick at Night. That is right, we're covering a Nick at Night show this time. Created by Josh Griffith. Basically, it was developed by Josh Griffith, written by Josh Griffith, based on a book which is not called Hollywood Heights. But this is a soap opera for Nick at Night. It ran for 80 episodes from June 18th to August 12th, 2012. It ran on Nick at Night. And from August 13th to October 5th, 2012, it ran on Teen Nick. So yeah, it had a massive cast. If you've watched a soap opera before, like All My Children or General Hospital or Days of Our Lives or any of that, like, there's a new episode every single day. Like, these people they bang out like a week's worth of episodes in one sitting. It's crazy. But if you've gotten into that soap opera life, there was a couple years where I was watching All My Children with my mother because she was taping it, during the day. So I'd come home from school and she would come home from work, and it was kind of our thing. Like, I did it more to just hang out with my mom than anything else. But there's just decades. I mean, All My Children was going on for decades. Like, they were pulling characters that, this person hasn't been seen in 20 years and things like that. Absolutely insane. So, this 80 episodes in a single year. Think about that. That's a crazy production schedule. 12 years ago, on June 19th, 2009, the Nickelodeon TV movie Mr. Troop Mom premiered, starring George Lopez. And of course, I'm sure you could guess by the title, features a guy helping a troop, but I'm sure you could also guess it's probably Girl Scout affiliated. The whole Mr. Troop Mom thing. I don't know. There's like weird titles if you're like a den mother, if you're with the Girl Scouts. They have different I don't know. Different titles. Anyway, I've never seen the movie. I don't know. I associated George Lopez with like waking up at 3 a.m. That was it. So I wasn't really looking out to watching movies with him. I actually want to say this wasn't made by Nickelodeon. This just was a movie that premiered on Nickelodeon on June 19th, 2009. It was in no way, I think, developed by Nickelodeon. So I bet you're asking why it's even on this list. Moving on. Also 12 years ago, on June 13th, 2009, the Naked Brothers Band finished its run on Nickelodeon. 3 seasons, 37 episodes, including 5 specials. Created by Polly Draper, it starred her 2 sons, Nat Wolff and Alex Wolff, who have both gone on to be in some pretty cool projects. I am definitely not a fan of the Naked Brothers Band whatsoever, but some of the projects that both of those brothers have been a part of have been incredible. One I can't even promote on here or talk about, and if you know, you know. And for our final show today, 16 years ago, on June 15th, 2005, CatDog finished its run on Nickelodeon. One of the most classic Nicktoons you can think of, easily recognizable. Everybody knows CatDog. Everybody loves CatDog. Got to catch that CatDog. Ran for 4 seasons of 68 episodes. The show was created by Peter Hanna and starred Jim Cummings and Tom Kenny as CatDog, respectively, living in a bizarre world as this, 2-personality creature attached to each other. Constantly have to deal with jerks like Rancid Rabbit, the Greaser Dogs, their like rented roommate Winslow, the rat, who just almost every character around CatDog is just despicable. And CatDog's just trying to live their life, just trying to do their thing, have fun, and unfortunately what both characters find as fun are completely different, and as the audience we absolutely love that. The conflict is what brings us to the table. I have a lot of fond memories of CatDog. If you remember, if you were growing up in the 90s at the time, you know how much this show is being promoted by Nickelodeon. They knew this was going to be a massive hit on television. And it was. It was a big hit. Not big enough to get a movie in theaters, mind you, but hey, if you go watch the short Fetch that was created to air alongside the Rugrats movie, it was actually animated as a theatrical cartoon. Like, go watch that short. Look at the design of CatDog. You can imagine how it would look on the big screen as a CatDog movie. They definitely got robbed of that. Although we did get the made-for-TV movie CatDog and the Great Parent Mystery, even though it didn't really answer anything. The show is beloved, although by the end of its run really had a very weak ending. The season 4 took 5 years to air, and it only consists of 8 episodes. 6, only if you're discounting CatDog and the Great Parent Mystery as one episode, because that was actually 3 different segments overall in the season. That counted as 3 episodes. It's just, how did that happen? What was going on at this time? And I feel like at the same time they were also fumbling shows like My Life as a Teenage Robot and Chalk Zone. And what was going on in the early 2000s at Nickelodeon, where certain shows were being treated well and others, like, they were just dropping the ball a lot at this time. Go back and look at the endings of Jimmy Neutron and the Fairly Odd Parents. Go look at the endings of Danny Phantom. Certain shows have this shelf life, and then they just like stop caring about you and jungle you around, and you have a 8-episode season that takes 5 years to air. Crazy. Like, go look at the airing schedule. They aired one new episode on June 15th, 2003, and then didn't air another episode until May 23rd, 2004. And as I said, CatDog was a big deal. I mean, I remember there being a decent amount of CatDog toys, so maybe it's just because it wasn't a big seller in merchandise, but, you know, Hey Arnold wasn't that big in merchandise as well, and they got 5 seasons of 100 episodes and a theatrical movie, so I just felt like CatDog by the end just got the bone, if you will. But they live on in pop culture media. CatDog will forever be a trivia question in bars across the United States. That theme song is one of the most catchy theme songs you can have on television to entice kids to run in and watch a cartoon. It's right up there with the SpongeBob theme as one of the catchiest songs. Everybody knows the CatDog theme. But that is this week in Nickelodeon history. Thank you for being a part of this. I appreciate everything you do, even if it is just listen to me speak about Nickelodeon stuff. Greatly appreciated. If you would like to follow us on social media, it's at I'm Ready Podcast on Twitter and at SpongeBob Podcast on Instagram. Look us up on Facebook, YouTube, however you're listening to this podcast. Give us a follow, give us a review. Anything you can do is appreciated. Thank you. Stay safe. Have a good week, and we'll see you next time.
On the Lord Hut, here a hut, Nick. On the Lord Hut, here a hut, Nick. On the Ricky Tickle, while living #1 Nickelodeon.